Hey everyone, welcome to winter. It's 14 degrees Fahrenheit today, negative 10 Celsius for those of you who live in a place where the system makes sense. But it is not windy yet. It's starting to pick up. It will be intolerable when the wind picks up. Right now, we can actually be outside. And I'm telling you, cabin fever is a real thing. So I think it's important to get out and do a few things outside so I don't totally go insane. Which means we're going to start in the garage with some of the overwintering plants. Let me show you what's happening in there. Okay, here's where we have everything's overwintering here. But one of the things I meant to do a while ago was provide some extra protection for some of the plants that are not actually hardy in my zone, which is why they're in here. So those include 3 of the Fiona Sunrise Jasmine. Those are 2 of them were growing in the window box. They are hardy to, I think, zone 7. I am theoretically a zone 6. We have not gotten colder than a zone 7 temperature yet, so everything should be fine, but they're just in these plastic pots. So I'm going to actually put them in a tub. We'll see if I can fit other ones in there too. So what I'm starting with here, first of all, is this plant caddy. These are pretty clever. This is from Crescent Garden, and they have wheels on the bottom of them. And you can do all kinds of things with these. But for right now, I'm using this in here because I'm going to slide this into this spot over here when we're done. But it's not necessarily where I want it to be all the time. Plus, it'll raise it up off the concrete floor more, which I think will be a good thing. Okay, so I just have an old Rubbermaid container that I'm going to layer in some animal bedding and then put those plants in. You'll see. Okay, this is this like wood shredded animal bedding that I use to store my dahlias in. I have most of a bag left of this. So we're going to use a bunch of this. And we're going to try to give these plants a little bit more protection at the root zone. I realize that pouring this would be more efficient, but I am trying to avoid spilling it all over everywhere. So I have left all the foliage on these, only because I feel like sometimes that helps overwintering things. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but I figure it doesn't hurt, probably. And I was hoping I was going to fit other plants in here, but I can tell you right now, clearly that's not happening. We're only going to be able to fit these in here. Okay. Then I'm just going to fill in all around there. Okay, I know what you're thinking here. You're thinking, Erin, you have just created a great place for a whole bunch of rodents to live over winter, and you are not wrong. Here is what I am doing to combat that. I'm using dryer sheets. Now, this is as old wives' tale as it gets, but we have found that fresh dryer sheets, now you got to change them out. They don't last forever, but fresh dryer sheets actually do dissuade mice. So we've done this out at the cottage for many years, is put dryer sheets in all the drawers. It really does seem to help. So I'm going to put a bunch of dryer sheets on top of this so that nothing wants to live here. I'll let you know if it works. The other thing that I think probably would work very well, I just don't have it, is peppermint oil, which does work, I think, for a lot of critters. So another good thing to do if I had pepper oil, I could put like a lot of drops of peppermint, not pepper oil, peppermint oil in there. Okay, now we need this. Okay, so about maybe once a month, I like to add just a little bit of water to those plants that are in there. The soil is probably frozen, so it won't soak in a bunch, but what you don't want is that water or those plants to just totally dry out. And the good news is we get to go inside for that, because I see I've got a plant in my hair. While my back and my body is pretty warm, my fingers are frozen because my gloves are garbage. Switching to mittens. Dexterity has nothing over warmness. I'm just going to sweep up my mess quickly before I introduce water into this mix. I meant to bring the leaf blower out here, but I forgot. So everything just gets, the dog is really helping here, just gets a little bit of water. Hey, come on, out of here. But I especially like to pay attention to the boxwoods because those are, broadleaf evergreens. So, they actually could be transpiring a bit of water here over winter. And I think you can see it's not like really watering things. It's just like a glug. One of the plants I was hoping to be able to fit in that tub but didn't is this one. This is Mahonia soft caress. Again, I think this is a zone 7 plant, so theoretically fine so far. We don't know what winter will bring. But it's not going to fit in there. So I do have it on a piece of insulation board, though, and that will get just a little splishy splash along with the sunshine ligustrum. And I will put a little bit in these vines. Probably should have done that before I did all this other stuff. I mean, what I don't want is a bunch of like wet shavings sitting in the bottom there. So we'll be very sparing with this. There we go. Okay, there we go. I actually have more water than I need here, to be honest. I think I will put the rest outside. I think I will go water the hemlock with the rest of this. I figure the hemlock can always take a little bit of water. Okay, so that is all the shrubs and perennials and whatever that's being overwintered out here, taken care of for a little bit. Oops. So the situation here is that we had a bunch of heavy snow and then it all melted, which is nice for living, not great for the plants. But you can see like all these sedums here and the aster that's here all got totally knocked down. So I feel comfortable cutting all of this back whenever the urge arises, which might be right now, but we'll see. And I'm not quite tough enough to do this today, but a couple of the jobs I could be doing out here right now, were it not so darn cold, is number one, tree pruning. So for instance, this willow here, this is a grafted willow. It always gets these branches that stick straight up in the air. I don't care for those. So this would be a great, honestly, I think you can prune on a willow any old time you want, but this would be an excellent time to do that. Also, on the pruning list is the annual pruning of the Hornbeam Hedge back here, which these, as I mentioned to you, have finally started thickening up. So, as I mentioned to you in a random video sometime, it's not like you missed something in this video. These are starting to thicken up, so I won't be pruning much on the sides for right now. Maybe a little bit here and there to just try to get them to thicken up a little bit more, but mostly I top these every year, which really pushes that growth down because I don't want these to get too tall. The idea is that this is all going to grow together and just create a wall. So this would be an excellent time to be pruning these, and in fact, the last time to prune those is probably, depending on the weather, is probably like late February, because you don't want to prune. Hornbeams are one of those plants that you don't want to prune when the sap starts rising. And there are many other trees that fall into that same category. So winter really is a really good time to be pruning on your trees, presuming you can do it without risking frostbite. Another thing that could definitely be pruned today that I've been talking about forever is I really need to get after pruning the top tier of this Asian pear espalier. Obviously I let that go way too long. So I have to make some decisions about what's going to happen with this. I'm thinking I'm going to do one more tier after this and then we're done. Because I don't really want to, it's a pain to add tiers because you have to put in, we use these little wire structures. And you got to drill into your mortar and stuff, which is not like my favorite thing to do. I'm also looking really closely at this area right here where we're going to be putting in some new trees, trying to figure out kind of placement of those, at least in my head. Okay, I am feeling a little bit of a desire to get something accomplished. So I am going to start cutting back some of this. I'm going to try using my little, I don't know exactly what we call this. I call it a perennial sickle. It's got a nice little saw on it. Got a little Okay, that did not work at all. This should do the job though. Honestly, my main reason for doing this right now is A, to accomplish anything out here, B, to neaten this area up a little bit, and C, to just check one tiny little job off the list, because it's one, I'm expecting an extremely busy spring, like mind-bogglingly so. So I'm feeling really a lot of pressure to do really anything I can to take something off that list. I don't show this area very often in videos, but this is where we had a huge pile of detritus, basically. Everything that didn't go in the compost pile would end up in a pile over here. So this could be stuff that was too thick to break down in the compost, or stuff that was like kind of weedy and I didn't really want it in the compost. Big soil balls that I didn't want to put into the compost. And so we had a friend with a tractor come and flatten this whole area out here. And of course the soil that was at the bottom of that, this is really nice soil. So actually now I'm going to start another pile. But you know what? This stuff might actually work really well in the dead hedge. So I think we're going to put it there now that I think about it, because it's quite woody. Darwin. No, gotta stay over here. Come on, too far. Okay, I've accomplished something and my mouth doesn't work anymore. So it's time to stop the video. Little jobs in winter makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're doing something, saves you a little time later. Have a great day in your garden. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.